In 1932, Australia declared war on one of the strangest enemies in military history, a giant flightless bird. This is the story of the Great Emu War, a bizarre real-life event where soldiers armed with machine guns tried to defeat emus and lost. After World War I, thousands of Australian soldiers returned home, many of them awarded land in Western Australia to farm as part of a government program. But the land was harsh and remote, and farming was difficult. Then came the Great Depression, making everything worse. Wheat prices crashed, equipment was expensive, and the government was slow to deliver promised subsidies. Farmers were already struggling to survive when a new problem arrived: emus. Each year around spring, emus migrate from the inland to the coast in search of water and food. In 1932, around 20,000 emus made their way into Western Australia's farmland, right where the struggling veterans were trying to grow wheat. The emus trampled fences, knocked down crops, and devoured what little food was left. With their crops getting destroyed and no help in sight, the farmers did what anyone in their position might do. They asked the government for military assistance. And surprisingly, the government said yes. On paper, it made sense. These were veteran soldiers dealing with a fast-moving, large-scale problem. Who better to handle an invasion than trained troops? Defense Minister Sir George Pearce approved the mission. He agreed to send soldiers equipped with 2 Lewis machine guns and 10,000 rounds of ammunition. The operation would be led by Major G.P.W. Meredith of the Royal Australian Artillery. Their goal? Reduce the emu population and protect the crops. Sounds simple, right? It wasn't. The mission began in November 1932, and right away, things went wrong. On the first day, the soldiers encountered a group of about 50 emus. They got into position, waited, and opened fire. But the birds scattered in all directions. They only managed to get rid of a few. The emus were faster than expected and incredibly hard to hit. Their long legs and unpredictable movement made them rough targets, even for machine guns. A few days later, they found a larger group, about 1,000 emus gathered near a dam. This time, they waited until the birds were closer, then fired. But the gun jammed after just a few shots, and once again, most of the birds escaped. It was quickly clear that emus weren't just fast, they were practically immune to the tactics the soldiers were using. Meredith later reported that the emus operated in small, organized groups, almost like military units. One would stand watch while the others fed. If there was any sign of danger, they scattered instantly. At one point, the soldiers mounted a machine gun on a truck and chased after a group of emus across the fields. But the terrain was too rough. The truck couldn't keep up, and the gun was too unstable to fire accurately. That attempt failed too. Over the course of a week, the soldiers fired thousands of rounds and got rid of only a few hundred birds. By mid-November, the operation was quietly shut down. Newspapers got wind of the story and turned it into a media circus. Headlines joked about the military being defeated by birds. Some even sarcastically suggested awarding medals to the emus for their tactical genius. The government was embarrassed, but farmers still needed help. So after a few weeks, the soldiers were sent back out for a second round. This time they managed to get rid of a few more emus, but the overall result was the same. The emus proved too fast, too predictable, and too numerous. Eventually, the operation was called off for good. In total, the soldiers fired about 9,860 rounds of ammunition and got rid of around 986 emus. That's roughly 10 bullets per emu. But considering the estimated emu population of 20,000, the campaign barely made a dent. So what happened after that? The government decided that machine guns weren't the solution. Instead, they focused on helping farmers build better fencing, which turned out to be far more effective. Some farmers also began organizing local culls using their own rifles. And while emus remained a problem, no one ever again tried to fight them with the military. The Great Emu War became a strange footnote in Australian history, a story that sounds like a joke but really happened. It's a strange reminder that nature doesn't always play by human rules and that even well-trained soldiers can lose when faced with an enemy that refuses to stand still. Today, the emu is still proudly featured on Australia's coat of arms, standing tall beside the kangaroo. It's one of the only animals in history that went head-to-head with a national army and walked away the winner. In a world full of strange military campaigns, the Great Emu War stands out not for its bloodshed or politics, but for its sheer absurdity. It's proof that sometimes the most unbelievable stories in history are the ones that actually happened. Like, comment, and subscribe for daily history stories.